Sam, what is going on? Help me
No,
unpack.
it's so I'm pregnant. I'm in my second trimester. Um, to you, that means I have passed through the first third, right? So, like, I have passed into what is considered like safer territory. Um,
Like the tell people zone?
do you hear what's going? You can't hear what's going on
Yes.
behind me,
No,
can you?
no, totally can. That is a
You
loud drill.
can. Hold
Yes.
on, that's not a drill. My mother is here.
Wait, is that
If
your
you could
mom's, like, hair dryer?
No, that's my mom. We have a central vacuum in our house. Again, things that we could explain. We have a central vacuum in this house, and Teddy took all of his Ritz crackers at lunch and just like did this, like crumbled all of them on the floor. And my mom's like, "Have you used your central vac yet?" And I was like, "I don't really use it. Like, I prefer just like the Dyson because I'm lazy. I don't want to deal with cleaning out the filter all the way down here." But anyway, the central vacuum is in that boiler room we talked about like weeks ago that I don't know how anything works in there. And that's where all of it collects. So anyway, that was what you
I
just heard
did just have
was
to
the
Google
central vac,
what a vacuum was.
central
I
vacuum.
did not know that vacuums could be built into the home. That's giving some serious Disney Channel original movie smart house energy.
Mhm.
So I am
I feel
here
like
for.
it's more of like an early 2000s thing that people had
Isn't
in their
the
houses.
decom I still use on dating apps. My hinge question is still, what is your favorite Disney Channel original movie? Again, shout
Ooh,
out to the friend that gave that to me because that is going on like a good 5 years and it has never not hit. And if it doesn't hit, that person isn't the move.
I tracked. Bringing it back. Although now, wait, before we bring it back, I need to know what your Disney Channel original movie is. Which one is it?
Cadet Kelly, easy, done.
Cadet Kelly. I'd have to
It
think about it.
it's Hilary Duff and, the girl from Even Stevens, and Hilary Duff is, like, the new, like, plebe at, like, a military school, and it's very cute.
I feel like I watched more like Nickelodeon than I did
Mm.
Disney Channel.
So when I say Disney Channel original movie, what comes to mind?
Didn't Hannah Montana have a movie?
Yeah, but, like, probably but, like, a decom
I'm
movie
like,
is, like, Friday night for me, it's so douche. It's, like, Friday night
mm,
after Shabbat dinner, the new ones would come out, and I would, like, beg my parents to stay up late and, like, lay on, like, the comfy black couch and, like, watch the TV late into the night. Oh, yeah, no, this is, like, Smart House, Xenon, Girl of the 21st Century, we're talking no, Sky High is my deep
mm-mm.
cut, Eddie's $1,000,000 Cook-Off.
You remember a lot. I don't remember anything. I also just like as a general statement don't remember much from childhood. Like I just don't have a good
Mm-mm.
I
Summer
I don't know.
I get hit with old childhood memories at the most random times, event or something, and I've been getting hit with, like, waves of emotion every time that happens for the past, like, 5 days.
What
Um,
scent? What scent are you smelling at summer camp right now that's like taking you back?
there's, like, one bush, and this sounds so strange, it's like a rosemary-esque, and it could be just like a rosemary bush, I don't know, but I
Yeah.
smell it, and it all the like, instantly transported to being, like, a 12-year-old kid at the back of, like, the summer camp amphitheater, like, waiting for services to start and, like, talking to friends. Like, very mundane, but, like, had like, looking at the stars last night, I was like, "Oh, these remind me of, like, first girlfriend, like, laying on the tennis courts to look at the stars as, like, a date." Okay,
First girlfriend
so
laying on the tennis court. Hold on, before we go back, let me make sure she's not gonna do this again because I feel
yeah,
like we're
yes,
gonna do
you
this.
take that. Yes, first girlfriend on the tennis court. I think it was the tennis courts. That was definitely one of the moves. Here, if you're not watching this, Sam has just taken off, and I'm just going on a rant on childhood memories. I would yes, you would do, like, little things as, like, dates when you get, like, your camp girlfriend or your camp boyfriend. So one of them's, like, a Shabbat walk. I literally saw a girl the other day, like, nearly, like, telling all of her friends who were trying to comfort her, because, like, she was like, "Guys, it was just one Shabbat walk. It wasn't that big of a deal. Like, one date-ish." And so, yes, just all the childhood memories rushing back with the Disney Channel original movies. I wonder
What
if
is
my
a
kid
Shabbat walk?
a Shabbat walk is like you get, like, little times that is like, "Hey, we need to make sure you're an eye distance." But, like,
Okay.
we're like you're 17, like like, yes, if your first kiss or you wanna hold hands and go on, like, a cute little walk, like, as long as we can see the silhouettes and, like or, like, you're gone for all of 3 seconds or whatever, so, like, that's what they do, they go on, like, these little walks,
Okay,
and
that's really sweet.
it's really adorable, and then, like, the drama, of course, happens because like, so and so's going on a walk with everybody.
So-and-so's going Adam's going on a Shabbat walk with everyone.
Adam loves a good Shabbat walk, but,
Did
like,
you have a new Shabbat walk partner every week?
I was fairly no, I would just add to the, like, list.
Oh, so you had a Rasta.
I just had a roster of, like, 1,000% friend-zoned Shabbat walk.
Okay, well, that's nice. That's sweet.
Yeah, I was like a nervous little Nelly, like, "Yeah, will you touch my hand?" And then
That's
I'll go
sweet,
back
though.
and, like, cuddle with, like, the other guys at my bunk or, like, whatever. Like, just normal summer camp.
So
It was
that may
very
have told us something early on.
girl, the signs were there to everybody
The
but Adam.
signs were there.
Can we
Like
transition
a
back to
whole
somehow?
we don't wanna talk about how you discovered your sexuality at Jewish summer camp?
That's such a
What?
good no. It was like kind of Jewish summer camp was just like a deep tease. Um,
I
I
love
have
it.
a whole
I
range
love
on
it.
how the acceptingness of some Jewish summer camps taught me, that I'm not gay, it's just everybody's really touchy and in touch with their feelings all the time and just wants to talk about their emotions, and, like, guys tell other guys they love them and give each other hugs, and that's super normal, which is really
And that
healthy,
that's how I was about to say, I wanna
crazy
well,
healthy.
we took Teddy to the playground before I hopped on this call, and I we're in this phase right now where I have to tell him that, like, "Teddy, not everyone wants a hug, like, on first encounter. Sometimes you have to say, like, 'Do you want a hug? Can
Mhm.
I come play with you? Do you want?'" But he approaches in a bear hug, like, full approach.
So you're teaching Teddy consent at a
Consent.
beautiful
Yeah.
early age.
We're
Hey,
teaching consent.
consent look, I think we have in a presentation, like, consent is hot and mandatory is, like, on a
Mhm.
slide that we did. So,
Mhm.
yeah,
Mhm.
super young.
Consent is hot. Maybe I'll just, like maybe we'll make, like, our next art project can just be, like, "Consent is hot," and we'll just, like, color all over it. Like a little poster we can keep in his playroom.
So he can just know the motto, but have to wait, like, a good 13 years for the breakdown on why that was in his childhood bef
100%. He's so in therapy, when he's 25, his therapist is like, "So what's going on?" He's like, "Well, my mom taught me consent is hot." Like, that's the energy.
You know what? The messages that I believe that, like, my mom loves, like, modern, but, like, abstract, symbolic she, like, loves, like, art in the house that, like, gives you, like, emotions, and it's amazing, and I love the ones she chooses. But, like, in adulthood, I'm realizing what some of the ones, like, represented that I was around as a child, and I was like, "Oh, yep." Like, I think one of them is literally just, like, a person standing in what is symbolically a garden full of phallic objects. It's very beautiful. It's a great painting, but, like, when you Google, like, every now and then I'd be like, "I wonder what else this guy's done," and I was like, "Oh, good
Oh,
girl." So
wow, 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 wow.
see, those
Okay.
are just, like, Easter eggs, and so Teddy will just in, like, 20 years,
Yeah.
"Mom."
He's gonna connect all of the dots, and then it will all begin to make sense to him, all of his little childhood teachings. But the best thing I can do and teach him in childhood is to be a great big brother.
There's that turn. Let's go.
There we go. There we go. And we're back. Well, what's so funny, I was thinking about it, I was like, I haven't announced the gender of this baby yet. So maybe we'll wait till next week to talk about your hilarity while looking at my ultrasound. But let's just say that Adam, this is the tease. Adam thought that a leg bone was exactly what you think it is. I
I
was like,
thought it had been, like, enhanced for Bruce.
Adam thought that my child in the womb is like packing. That's what he thought. I was like, This is a person who has never seen an ultrasound photo
I've seen
ever in his life.
I had to watch a live birth of, like, AP Pio in, like, 14.
You watched a live birth?
I mean, not live, but, like, it live to tape.
I
Not
was like,
live.
who's live streaming a birth?
Was it like no, it was, like, on a DVD for, like, all the kids
Oh,
to watch.
yes. So Adam thought that one of the bones that you could see on the ultrasound was indeed a penis. And it what we're going to do is, first of all, I will tell you that what he thought was a penis is not a penis. And then I will tell you that we will tell you the gender of this baby probably like next week. So that's your tease. Is it or is it not a boy?
Adam,
You'll have to wait to find out.
could be. Oh,
So, yeah, but it's funny because I've known for months that I'm pregnant. Like, I have known now since March 1. It's been this we're almost in July, for God's
I have
sake.
forgotten for the record every week, and, like,
Yeah.
having known this for at least a couple weeks, every time I see you and I'm like, "Oh, yeah," like,
Mhm.
completely looking normal, like, I forget that pregnancy really just like, it anyway.
Yeah. It is so
My
weird
dress
because,
is
like,
really gonna come out in the next few weeks from that.
that's why I'm like, let me define pregnancy for you. No, I think it's funny because last pregnancy, I was on television for a living and I was trying to like hide a belly. But what's cool about pregnant women is I mean, you really do grow like the majority in your like third trimester. But in the second trimester, there's still this brief period where you're like, has she acquired like a Budweiser habit or like a burrito everyday habit? Or is she just like pregnant? Like there's this very real, like, what is happening?
How conscious
And
are you when you reach that point that, like, people are like, "Is she? Isn't she?" Like, do you know people are
uh-huh,
thinking that?
100%. I went to a going away party for a former co-worker. And I was with all of these TV people who I had been, working with for years before I had Teddy. And I walked in and they're all kind of looking at me like, okay, like just kind of giving me side eye, like, is she, isn't she? Like somebody needs me to say it. And at that point, I had told family and friends. I mean, I was far enough along that I felt pretty confident. I've had, a couple
When is the week
ultrasounds,
cut off that you're just like or, like, is it just once you finish the 1st trimester that it's like,
but
"Okay"
like when you're comfortable to tell
yeah,
people,
when most people
um, most people are comfortable after the first trimester. Your chance of like miscarriage goes dramatically down every week that you're pregnant in the first trimester. And then once you hit the end of the first trimester, it's like you're doing well. But I, as a human being, have not been comfortable announcing my pregnancies online, which is why I've waited this long. I am quite literally halfway through this pregnancy. I am not comfortable until I see an anatomy scan, which happens like between 18 to 22 weeks, like depending on your practice. And the anatomy scan is where you see all of everything. You see baby's organs, you see leg bones and arm bones, Adam Mincer, that are not genitals. You also you do see genitals. They point those out, and I did see what I needed to see to confirm the gender. Um, let's put it that way. And I you see the heart, you just see everything, and you have a doctor in there who's saying everything is developing normally. Like you need, like to me, I need that
Mm.
reassurance to be able to feel like, okay, I can like now share it.
What's that like a weight not to ask the journalism question, what's that weight off
Yeah.
like? Like, I can't
Uh,
like, feeling the potential guilt or, like, burden of, like, "Have I screwed up? Did I eat the wrong thing
mhm,
today?" It's like, "Did I inhale secondhand smoke and I shouldn't have?"
mhm.
Like, I would be awful.
Yeah, especially if you have an anxious brain. Like I have such an anxious brain, and I really struggled the first time with thinking that I was going to tell people I was pregnant and like jinx it, like
Mm.
something was going to go wrong. And um, I wouldn't say I've gotten over that. I'm not over it, but I definitely am doing much better this time around with, okay, you're visibly pregnant. Yeah, you probably should tell people you're pregnant. That's okay. So like when I'm at this party with all these people and they're looking at me like I'm They're like, "Is she?" And I'm like, "Yeah, no, I'm." What's they go, "What's going on with you? What's new
Kind
with
of
you?" And I go, "Oh, I'm pregnant."
needing to, like, come out to people over and over again. Like, kind of
Yeah.
especially if you're, like, doing it a little later, like, "Hey," it's like,
Mhm.
"No, no, 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 honey, we can see it. We just need you to say it to acknowledge it."
Yes, because people do not wanna be the person who's like, "Oh my god, congratulations. When are you due?" And you're like, "I'm not pregnant." You're like,
I
imagine.
I have witnessed it. I have not done that, but I have, like, seen that interaction happen, and I don't do secondhand cringe well, and my stomach visibly
Mhm.
I see somebody, like, go to touch like, I know the no-nos, I don't understand why there's such big no-nos, but, like, going to see a friend, like, touch, a pregnant woman's stomach, and I'm just like, "No."
No, and it's like, what if they're not pregnant?
And you're just
What
touching
if they're
the
not
person's
pregnant?
stomach.
Yeah,
Ugh, how's
yeah.
Logan?
He's doing really well. Um, Logan is such a level guy. He doesn't actually, when I told him that had taken a positive pregnancy test, it's funny, he didn't think it was true because I had done the test, and the way it works is you have a control line that's pink, and then if the other pink line doesn't pop up, you're not pregnant. Yeah,
I don't know
the
why
pink line
this is
pops up, you're
something
pregnant.
I know in comparison to a lot of things that I don't, but I'm like, "Yeah, of course I know that one."
I tend to treat your, pregnancy knowledge as, like, how to pregnancy for dummies. That's, like,
It's
where I
explained
think
to
we
me
should
like
go.
on Five subreddit.
Yes, yes, I am officially your Reddit thread. Um, I so I give him this test, or I had Teddy give him the test, and he looks at it and he goes, "Not pregnant?" Like, I have it on video, it's so funny. And it's because the line was so faint when I first took the test, and we were trying, like, we had been trying for a couple months,
This
and
was an intentional.
yeah, this was intentional. This was like, "Hey, let's do this again. Kids waking up, why not? Let's do it again.
Let's
He
go
wakes
red
up overnight, it's fun. Yeah, he screams and harasses us all day. Let's do it again." No, we
thing
knew we wanted yeah, we knew we were ready.
logical leap. How is it just I know Teddy's this beautiful creature from gift from God, blah, 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 you grew him yourself, and I love seeing pictures, but what is you're like, "You know what? He's actively hurting my ears, and I want another."
There's something, I don't know what it is, biologically, hormonally, whatever that happens when they hit a year old, and your brain forgets. There's, like, a little bit of amnesia, and you look at this baby who is no longer a baby, and you're like, "Oh, it was so wonderful. I wanna do it again." Like, you just kinda start to get that, like, itch, and I knew I'm not old by any means. I'm 33. I have plenty of time to get pregnant, but I knew that if we wanted, like, multiple children, I probably needed to start making some movements. And we had said we'll start trying at 18 months if we feel like we're ready. When Teddy's 18 months, if we feel like we're ready to go, that's our check-in point. And if we feel ready to go, we'll do it. And
So
also, you never know.
I can't, but yes, keep going.
Yeah. You never know, like, what's going to happen. There's such a thing as secondary infertility. We had no problem getting pregnant the first time.
Didn't
I
know
know people have had trouble getting pregnant the second time. So we were like, we don't know,
how
how
rates go
things could
up,
go.
like, your odds and everything.
You
These
would think, but you're older, and you're
35 is a
like,
geriatric pregnancy or something crazy like that?
yeah, 35 is considered geriatric, and some of the things and the what you have to go through while you're pregnant, it changes. So, I'm 33, I'll be 34 when I have this baby. So, if I want like 3 if I don't want 5 kids, but say I wanted 5 kids, like, I gotta pump them out. I don't want 5 kids for the record, please. Like, let's wait, there's only 1 in there. There's 1. There's 1 in there. That is confirmed.
Good. I need
There's 1
did
in
the
there.
anatomy scan at least tell you?
Yes. Yep, there's only 1. They actually confirmed that, I wanna say, at 8 weeks, because you go in there for that first scan and talk about
Mhm.
nerve-wracking, and they're, like, checking to make sure there's a heartbeat,
Shit can be
and that's
scary.
usually yeah, and so they're like, "Did it split? Is there 1? Is there 2? Is there 5?" You never know,
I love how,
but
like,
thankfully there's 1.
one of my some of this pregnancy knowledge comes from doing a story, then a follow-up story on identical natural, twin quad quadruplets.
How many is that?
I think it was 5. Hold on, I'm, like, Googling my own
I need to know.
yeah, Adam, identical Quintuplets. I hate that these are things that I'm like, yeah, what was that story? Like identical quadruplets.
Oh, so 4.
So 4, 1 in 40 million odds for them to have been born, like, naturally, conceived naturally and everything, and all, like, identical girls,
That is actually crazy.
and that was their I think that was kid 3, 4, 5, 6, and like, they already had 2.
So they were like, "Oh, we're just going for the 3rd," and then they have 7. That and that's what I would like to not have ever. I mean, it's obviously every child is a blessing and, you know,
Anytime
but
someone starts a sentence with, "Obviously, any child's a
every
blessing,"
child's
the
a
next thing that
blessing.
comes after is going to be something very negative about having children.
It's like the thought of like we talked about Ballerina Farm last week. She has like 9 children. And I first of all, I don't know how you physically pregnancy is hard. I don't know how you physically carry 9 babies. Power to her. Like she um
Like, try one, do one.
no. No. It's different. It's different hard though. So like pregnancy 1 with Teddy, I was working a job at 3 in the morning. And that was physically exhausting in its own way, but because I didn't have a toddler, I was able to come home and like relax. At the end of my day, put my feet up, fuel myself appropriately. Although in the first trimester, there's no such thing as fueling appropriately. You just like
Go
you're for lack of a better phrase, you're raw dogging it. Like you are trying to eat buttered noodles. You are eating Ritz crackers if you can. You're throwing up whatever. Like you don't even know. And it's first trimester is hard no matter what. First trimester with a crazy job is hard. First trimester with a toddler, that that is a new level of adulthood that I feel like I had to conquer in the last
interesting
several months. Yeah, the
because it's
fatigue
like
is crazy, the nausea, like, and you're trying to wrestle a very rambunctious child. I will say though, it was better this time in the sense that I slept normal hours. My husband is a little more established in his work. And so he's able to kind of come home and help with some of the nighttime stuff. Like there was just factors that were easier this time, factors that were harder last time. But I would say this time, what's interesting is I'm in the second trimester now and I'm having days that feel like the first trimester where I have really horrible fatigue or I'll have horrible GI symptoms. And it just like comes and goes and I can't really predict it. The fatigue definitely is like, I would say worse this time around. And I don't know if it's just because I'm a couple years older or I'm
mm.
chasing a like there's so many different factors, but yeah, it's been better in some ways, worse in some ways. But this one also is flying. Like the time just feels like it's flying.
Do you think, like I don't know, I have after having talked about Logan, like, getting, like, deathly ill last week and, like, being
Oh my God.
incapacitated, do you ever think, like, he could never?
Mm.
Like, I'm balancing all of this fatigue, all of this pain, and, like, these extra, like, however many pounds on my front,
Oh
holding
my
the other
gosh.
child, going through Costco, and you're just like, "He couldn't."
I think, first of all, Logan has this motto and he is like a sports ortho guy. And he always says that if someone has to tell you how high their pain tolerance is, they have like 0 pain tolerance. So if I come to you and I'm like, I have a really high pain tolerance and I'm going to come in and I'm going to get this knee injection. And he's like, that's the person who's like sobbing uncontrollably. Right. Logan just does things. He doesn't complain. He doesn't like, I think Logan would be able to carry. I really do. I think that he is one of the toughest people.
Ladies of the world, do you think your man could handle a pregnancy?
Most, I think most men could not.
No,
Logan though,
absolutely not.
Logan, I think could most like,
Still have faith
God
in
bless my dad. My dad could not handle a pregnancy. He could, Dr. Mark could not handle a pregnancy. And it's just,
him.
I wonder if Logan, I'm going to have to ask him though, because I wonder if Logan would say the same thing. Logan watched me give birth the first time. So I wonder if he would say the same thing. Like, would you ever be able to do that? I don't know. But
9
when
months is is like a period of time.
oh yeah. And it's really more like 10, I feel like, because between conception and then all the way to like it's 9-10 months your body is completely in the service of creating a child. And the sensation I've had this time around is like, oh my gosh, all of my organs moved around again. And it just doesn't feel as good this time moving around, like, for
And
some
then I
reason.
was literally Googling it, I was like, "Did their organs actually move?"
I just, like, have this vision of my stomach being, like, pushed into my ribs. I keep thinking about it, and I don't know why this time I'm thinking about it. Last time I didn't think about it that way. I just was like, "Wow, this is so cool. There's a baby in there." This time I'm like, "Where's my colon? Where is it?"
Girl, dude, where's my colon?
Like, where is it? It's anatomically in my body right now. Where is it? Um, but it is cool. This baby is really active, and so I feel so much already.
People say that all the time. You're like, "This one's a kicker, this one's active." Like, can you
Yeah.
gauge for me, like, what is that experience?
So the first feelings when you, like, start to feel baby, they feel like little bubbles. It's almost like little flutters. It's like if you remember, like, I don't know, if you had a crush and you had, like, butterflies in your stomach, you kinda get, like, butterfly feelings. Uh,
But they're
but you could but yeah, but it's not because you're, like, having a good time. You're just like, "Oh, that's a sensation." And then you start to feel like little what I would describe as, like, little taps, like little flicks. Like if someone was, like, just flicking you, it's just like little. And then once they start to get bigger, you start to see, like, they'll be rolling in your stomach. You'll see, like, waves across your stomach. It is truly wild. At first, it freaked me out. When my first pregnancy, it freaked me out. I didn't like it, and I grew
yeah,
to like it
that's the
throughout
thing.
the
People say
pregnancy.
it's like, "Oh my god, this is a beautiful thing," and I'm like, if there was something just, like, twisting and turning in me, like, I wouldn't love that, especially because like,
Yeah.
cords and things and safety and
Mhm.
all that.
Mhm. Mhm. It is definitely a sensation you have to get used to. It's and some people I think feel guilty that they don't like it. Some people really don't like it the whole way. Yeah. I enjoyed I mean, for me, it's reassuring. It's been great to have it so early this time because it's been it's just that little, like, "Okay, you're alive in there. That's great." You're growing, you're moving. That's all we wanna know.
Always right, like, that's
Yeah.
always better than the alternative. I get that.
But that's, like, coming from a second time mom. Yeah, I'll be a second time mom, so I know, like, okay, once I hit this certain point of second into third trimester, I have to start counting kicks. I forget how many it is a day, 20 something, and you have to know that you've had a certain number of kicks per day. It lets you know that baby's okay in there. And if they slow down or it changes, then you, like, need to go to the doctor because something could be wrong.
Much do you freak out about that number?
I honestly didn't because Teddy was also really active, and I, like, was I mean, it was within a couple hours he gave me the kick count. So, you basically sit down, you just relax, and you just count.
Alright.
Yeah, it's
Keep us
yeah. So
updated
that's
on the number two's kick count. I'm kind of
listen,
curious.
number 2 is in there rolling around and pushing my stomach into my ribs, so already I know,
Sam,
I
please
know.
distract me from imagining your colon going into your ribs with some news of the
Yeah,
week.
Alex Cooper's pregnant.
Yeah, look at you guys
Yeah, she's
bonding. I
pregnant.
think
I
'cause she
yeah,
just, like, internet announced and everything too.
she did. So, it's
You
her
listen to Call Her
announcement. I listen to some Call Her Daddy. Do you listen to Call Her Daddy? Have you listened at all?
More recently, I feel like people are always like, "Oh, they got so much more corporate over time, blah, blah, blah." But I've actually listened recently because, like, look, at the end of the day and, like, encourage people to listen. At the end of the day, she has a unique interview style. I
Mhm.
love how whatever she does to make other people, particularly women, just, like, sit comfortable and just be like, "Yeah, girl, let's dish." Like, that is a skill, that is a persona, that is an art that cannot be taught, that can be nurtured, and I wish I had that. So part of this is
Yeah.
envy of, like, that interview ability, but then whenever see these, it's almost, like, predictable to see these headlines of, like, "Oh, this so and so person who is, like, really lifting up other people and trying to be this unique person, here's, like, the bad side." And that we always want that, and I get it, but I also like that, "Hey, yes, you're a big person now, you're a public figure, you get that level of scrutiny." So, catch us up with Alex Cooper now that she has reached that level of scrutiny, apparently.
Yeah. So, first of all, I agree with you, about her interview style. I actually look to her I look to her a lot as an example of someone who is so incredibly comfortable in front of a camera being exactly herself. And there are some people who may say it's an act, it's a facade, whatever, but clearly she's so comfortable doing it.
Not an easy act to keep up is what
Yes.
like, it's really hard when you're in front of a camera for hours on day to be someone you're not so consistent.
Yeah. I'm sure I think actually my view and what I see when I read all of the drama, we'll get into the drama in a second. When I watch the way that she interviews, sits in front of a camera, dresses, she's usually in like a sweat set. Think
Mhm.
about how we were taught as journalists to always be, I mean, even the way I'm saying now, I'm like, I never would have sat like this. I would have been upright,
Mhm.
like completely chest out, the shoulders are like you're so proper. And like
About my chin all
Alex,
the time.
yeah. And if you want to have an interview style that is going to make other people comfortable. And I remember thinking this doing interviews, even just out in the field, you have to relax your body. And that's just not something that I think is taught traditionally in J school. It's much more about putting on this air of, I know what the hell I'm doing. And so Alex Cooper, I think, has this really amazing way of making people feel comfortable simply because she's comfortable. And that is a skill. I don't think that's an act. I think there's this behind the scenes stuff that people are saying, okay, yeah, she does that really well. And also there's
Maybe
this accusation of this mean girl side.
so what is the accusation? Because I think
Okay.
people coming up and now needing to turn into managers of other humans slowly, like, things come up, but, like, what are we actually talking about?
So it's funny because as we were like, I need to talk about this, I need to build a dish. I'm like, let me get in crisscross applesauce so I can get comfy. Let me get comfy
Everyone
so I can tell you. Um, There have been a couple of pieces that have come out over the past couple of months, specifically about her husband, Matt Kaplan. Matt Kaplan, I think he still is a Hollywood producer, but he and Cooper basically created this Unwell network, which is where she has an umbrella of talent. They host podcasts, obviously her podcast. Actually, is her podcast underneath it? I don't know about that.
I
Is it
don't
under
know.
the Unwell umbrella?
I know she has, like, she has, like, the Unwell
She's with
State
Spotify?
Yeah, she
Uh,
has a
we'll
and
have to. Anyway, she was with Sirius and Spotify, and I don't know if she's technically under her own company. That would make sense, right? But that's a good question. This Vanity Fair article came out this week by Clara Malo. Hopefully, I'm saying her name right. Um, and essentially, she talked to 40 plus employees at the Unwell Network, which is pretty much primarily like young Gen Z women
how
who
many
are,
be? Yeah,
I don't know how many there are, but
I feel
these are,
that's what I'm meaning to say.
yeah. And she talked to all of these former or current employees. And I would say that there's some, I mean, the fact that you're able to talk to current employees just like says a lot about, I think, your chops as a reporter, but um, that's a whole other piece of the story.
Getting people to talk against their own companies. Yep.
Yes. Yes. And the central irony, I guess you could say, is that Alex Cooper has built her brand on empowering women, on basically revoking being a mean girl and saying that she wants to bring these, especially young influencer content creator women, she wants to lift them, right? So everybody knows who Alex Earl is. Alex Earl is this big influencer. She started on TikTok and she has just blown up everywhere. Alex Earl started a
Same
podcast with the
platform
Unwell Network.
is, Alex Earl also wasn't she supposed to be the Bachelorette, but, like, she wasn't?
You're thinking Taylor Frankie Paul,
Why do
Secret
I
Lives
think
of
those
Mormon
2?
Wives.
Okay, but in my mind, they're the same person, so I will continue.
That's so funny. Secret Lives of they're both hot messes. We'll put it that way. Alex Earl, her whole brand is about being a hot mess. She started her TikTok doing get readies with me in college, where she would go on 24-hour like party benders. Like she is wild, but people love her because she
Monetize that. Look, if
yeah.
chaotic's your brand and you can brand it,
And similarly to Alex Cooper, she has a way of just talking to a camera in a way that makes people feel like they're her best friends. So Alex Earl comes under the Unwell umbrella. They're going to create this podcast. Then there's some weird falling out between Cooper and Earl. And that kind of started this like, okay, what's going on at Unwell Network? Like, what's happening there? Bloomberg released a piece a couple months ago, essentially saying that Matt Kaplan, Alex Cooper's husband, is a tyrant, for lack of a better word. I could pull some specific quotes, but some of these employees are calling him the puppeteer, pulling Alex Cooper's strings,
Are we talking, like, yelling at employees, like, kind of probably
yelling at
sexual
employees.
comments usually comes in that, uh,
Yep.
inappropriate touching, hopefully not.
Mhm. There
Um,
were a couple accusations of maybe a lingering touch or
I
and like near Alex Cooper to where the employee feels uncomfortable. They also said sources reported that Kaplan used words like stupid and retarded when referring to employees and threatened their careers, like on a set. So there have now been two pieces that have come out in the last couple of months about Matt Kaplan specifically and about his conduct within
so leakers be
these
leaking,
spaces. Leakers
whistleblowers
be
be
leaking.
blowing.
And the Bloomberg piece, I think everybody was like, okay, is this the hit piece? And then when Vanity Fair comes back and says, okay, now we've talked to 40 plus employees, obviously that doesn't look good. Now, I will say Cooper just responded. She just
Really?
responded like in the last 2 days. Yeah. She responded in a Wall Street Journal interview. And here I'm going to quote her because I think it's important. Basics of journalism. We got to give her moment. She
Please.
said, I will say that building a startup, there is so much growth that comes with that. And I'm extremely proud of what we have built at Unwell. I will just kind of leave it at don't believe everything that you read on the internet. Um, she was then pressed by the reporter who asked whether the allegations reflect a generational shift in employee expectations. And Cooper said, quote, I think that we have done a really incredible job at Unwell. And I think if you walk the halls, there are so many people that are so happy to work at this company.
Mm, nope.
Deflect, deflect, deflect. So she's called this a smear campaign.
Yes,
You
so
know,
many people are happy. Yeah, but clearly a few of them are taking the time, risking their jobs and careers to call a
yes.
reporter and say something. Unless they have an alternative vendetta,
Yeah.
which is the reporter's job to suss out, like, then they are the ones in pain.
Yeah.
And
And
they
this
probably
Vanity
have
Fair, yeah. And this Vanity Fair reporter said that on a number of occasions, talking to these employees, that some of them asked whether she was a plant by Cooper and Kaplan. Like, are you a plant to like see where the leaks are within the company? So clearly something is up.
no. If you're looking for leakers, then maybe
Yeah,
question why the boat is leaking.
right. And I think it's interesting because Cooper talks a lot about this being a startup and having a startup being a difficult thing. And I think anybody who's been in the startup world, I know nothing about the startup world, but I have many friends in the startup world who say it is tough. It is tough out there in those streets. But it's when you're having the exact same issues in a startup environment that is a media company that you're having in legacy media, right? You're looking at like
I didn't even
old,
make the
old, old.
connection of like, "Hey,
Mhm.
look, the new thing that's supposed to be independent and in the power of the creator and stuff like that, the same thing is happening."
Yes. I drew that parallel after reading this article and I was like, that to me speaks volumes about the industry as a whole. And I think part of it has to do with the fact that you have a lot of these big personalities in one room
Mhm.
and it's high stakes, high money. I mean, Cooper's deal, I got to look up, say what you're going to say. Cooper's deal with Spotify was like millions.
And that's the thing, it's one's I mean, I guess it's like when startups get, like, infused with, like, a whole lot of cash, like, sure, things can happen, but I do and, like, you have to scale really quickly, and I know there's books
Mhm.
and lectures and so many things that talk about scaling appropriately and all of those things, but at the end of the day, like, I think you're right. When there's a big group of a lot of personalities who are hired because they are unique, loud, interesting, compelling personalities that can command an audience with tight deadlines in an ever-changing media landscape, no matter what your company is, and the need to diversify, I think and then you add any spread of, like, glamour or star or show business or whatever onto it,
Mhm.
and highly ambitious people. Like, I just think that is the recipe for disaster, unless
100%.
it's properly managed.
Yes.
Sure.
And so you have someone like Matt Kaplan, who's a producer. You have and works in Hollywood, where speaking of cutthroat and like just stakes are so high. And then you have Alex Cooper, who's 31, by the way. She's 31 years old.
Crazy that,
Yeah,
like, I mean, she's
she's
younger than I am.
young. She's younger than I am, and she's someone who is now essentially running a company alongside her husband. And there's this accusation that Kaplan is really like running the show and Cooper is the talent, and it's technically really, I mean, it's their joint
Makes
company,
me
but
sad because then you're just getting
yeah,
in the, "Oh, yes, there's just a guy behind the," like,
yes,
you think it's this strong, amazing woman who's starting this own thing, but really there's a guy behind pulling the string. That
yes,
that I
yes.
don't like, I no.
Yeah. 125 million, by the way. The multi-year deal with SiriusXM, 125 million for exclusive content. And that was after she ended her Spotify deal. So, I, yeah,
Imagine what the
it is.
Netflix of the world are offering, and gosh.
And think about that in relation to news salaries.
I mean,
And
that's
right? It's
hard
crazy that we're talking about connections because the money, look where the money is now. The
I
money is
wonder
not
if the
in TV.
employees at, like, again, what are the salaries that these producers for and booking producers for Alex Cooper,
Mhm.
and what are they seeing a lot of those millions? Like, is and, like, I know there's been looks into, like, Mr. Beasts of the world and stuff like that, and I don't really remember the conclusions, but maybe they are. But unless you're the creator, even if you are working for the creator, I think it's still hard to get that real money because a million people wanna be Alex Cooper's producer just as much as they wanna be a reporter in South Carolina.
Yeah, and all of these kids who are working at Unwell, I call them kids because they're Gen Z, they're just coming out of school, this is likely their first job, and they're coming out and they've grown up listening to Alex Cooper, and Alex Cooper, let's not forget, started at, like, Barstool Sports with Call Her Daddy and another co-host, and it was a very different show.
Yeah, that's the other thing, the way she, like, I say sanitized, not in the way of, like, but mainstreamed is a better word. The way she was able to mainstream it, also crazy. And look, maybe the husband played a huge role in the business side anyway. The puppeteer
Yeah,
comment makes me roll my eyes a
that
little.
it's so the whole thing is so interesting, and it's just I wonder in 10 years when we're looking at the way that media is produced. I mean, think about 10 years ago, would we be talking about Kamala Harris on Call Her Daddy? No.
Well, no, and then that's and now we're getting to the whole, like, okay, podcasting and all this stuff, is it the just, like, the new form of media, like, what we're doing
Do you
because
think it is?
I think look, visual story like, this is such a cliche canned answer, but I do actually believe it. Visual storytelling is always gonna be visual storytelling. You are always going to people are always gonna enjoy a way to watch a story. I think people will always like watching real stories and things happen in real time or as close to it as possible. So, I mean, whether that exists in a honestly, the video podcasting thing is what convinced me more. I said, "Oh, look, even when audio is the big driver, people still want that video option, even if it's just 2 people blabbing on a couch."
Us.
Hey, thank you to the, like, couple dozen people. We appreciate
We love ya.
years we'll laugh at this all together.
Yes.
The fact that
A
we
hundred
podcast.
100%. It is so wild to think about how local news will evolve though, because if you think about the way that the streaming and the content has so gone up, right? But the ad dollars clearly are in other places.
Digital ad dollars.
How
Ugh.
right. So how do you maintain a product? How do you maintain a product? I mean, the station I worked at before this, they were like adding shows. It's like back to back to back to back to back hours. I mean, you're on for hours straight. You're talking about the same shit over and over and over
Rinse and
again.
repeat. Literally
It, yes,
watch.
every hour on the hour, rinse and repeat. And how do you, I don't know if you have an opinion since you do feel so strongly about visual storytelling. How do you then drive money there? Like, where is it?
It's
If
not
not,
even drive money there, it's how do you drive talent there too. But, like, to your question on how I think you could draw money into that situation, I do think Like, and that's where I get a little upset. Like, you hear all these, like, general managers and large corporations, like these large journalism consortiums, whatever it is, talk about needing to adapt to the times, be in the community, and all of these, like, and make sure you're telling the stories that people want and including real people. Like, I think all of that stuff is correct. But what journalism has too, I think a lot of our newsrooms have too much of an like, newsrooms are inherently expensive. The building, the maintenance, the equipment. When you can do like, I do think we're built on a shaky foundation and expecting the ad dollars and you like, I'm not saying, like, tear it all down, but I think companies need to start thinking about it's like, when you're building like, somebody's building, like, a new bridge in a city, you keep the old one while you're constructing the new one. Like, I think the real thing would be, let us create, like, an incubator of, like, actually empowering talent, because the only reason I, as talent, would wanna go to a news station's if I believe they can help make my storytelling better, they can help elevate it, they can help give it recognition it otherwise wouldn't. But if you don't feel like that, why would you go to a company? And if you don't feel like that company's providing it, why would you give them the dollars? Because you don't think they're getting the, like, true good eyeballs. End
Yeah.
rant.
No, it brings up a really important point. And for reporters, if the salaries keep dropping, at what point is it even feasible to work the job anymore? I don't know. I feel more pessimistic, I think, about it than you are, just because I don't know how it recovers. But at the same time, I think it's such an essential part of our democracy. Speaking of cliches, it is such an essential part because you need to have people and journalists on the ground in a community talking about what's happening. Otherwise, just stuff goes unchecked. And we know that to be a fact.
We can't gatekeep the title of journalism is another thing that I think a year ago I would have said differently. But if there is somebody in a room recording a city council meeting that would not have been public otherwise and live tweeting what it is, they are a journalist that day. And like, whether it's a community journalist, whether they're getting paid for it or not, that's the other thing. We need to like there's this term UGC, user generated content. I know it gets used in a lot of companies. We do need, and I think what legacy media organizations and some of them doing to go through, to verify, to put that together, to create networks. And I know there's media companies doing this, trying to create networks of community journalists. Like there are ways and there's people trying it, but there's still just enough of an advantage, I think, to go to a traditional space. And I think traditional spaces are still nervous about actually investing rather than just saying, let's make every station have a podcast is very different from we now have within this media group a podcasting division. We will be interviewing your staff members and stuff like that when big stories go national, stuff like that. Like there's a difference between like, this is a cool idea, figure it out, and oh wait, we actually believe in this. I don't even think I'm answering your questions. These are long,
No,
seated rants,
the,
apparently.
I think you're the podcast, and there are some companies doing that, I think. And
Yes.
there are some stations I've seen doing it. And I do agree with you. I think it's a good incubator. I think the problem is that they're not necessarily prioritizing it in the same way that they prioritize day-to-day news.
I remember there was someone at a station I used to work at who really said, I will start making digital my priority when you show me that that digital actually is first. Because for right now, the only thing you're reacting to is my live stand ups. If you start caring what my vertical videos of my stories look like and you actually give me time for those rather than add it as a to do list item, like we're not, one thing has to be the priority.
Yes. And I think small stations and small markets are actually doing a better job of that than big
Yes.
market stations. They
I
care.
I have thought so much about like the stories I was doing in Colombia and other markets because I was like, "Oh, like, we actually like, that was a time that we were really listening, we were really engaging, and we were truly trying to, like, turn stuff up." Were there issues? Was there a whole bunch of stuff going on? Like, did it have
Oh,
typical
yeah.
newsroom problems? Absolutely. But that station really does have a pulse on that community, and I think therefore, I mean, they should maybe like, is there an independence idea? Or actually, I don't know if gray media group, that's a whole different thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yes, some people
Um,
should.
and I think Do you remember when they were trying to do, like, over the top programming? Were you
No,
there
I'm
for that?
talking about.
It was like they had, like, this whole other set they had set up, and I don't know if they still do this or if they have other it was like they would do, like, digital only shows on
Oh,
this specific set in the
didn't I
newsroom.
know that that's what OTP stood for?
Yeah, yeah, over the top, and it was
I've
like
never known.
anything outside of the newscast, and even I mean, even still when we were there, how many shows did we expand? I mean, we expanded the 4 o'clock while we were there.
We personally have to expand 3.
Yeah, and the 7 o'clock expanded. I mean, point being, they also acquired the CW, but there's gotta be a shift, in my view, for local newsrooms to survive with talent that people will watch. I hate to put it that way, but if you want people in your community that viewers trust, you cannot have a revolving door of young reporters
Lot
unless you're a starter market.
and that's because in, like,
It's expected.
even then, when we use the word starter market, that's still, like, one of the main news sources for that community. So for when I would love for every market to have a Judy Gatson. I think we would have
Mhm.
a better like, Judy being the main anchor, a staple anchor in Columbia, South Carolina, who was a mentor to both Sam and I, and a co-anchor of Sam's, was just is. But it's just like you would benefit from having that advocate in your community who is constantly pressing every person that they have in their phone saying, "We want transparency. We wanna know what's up."
Yeah, and I think this is not a knock on new reporters at all. We were both fresh out of college reporters at one point, and the experience that we got in our first jobs, it was integral to everything that we did next. But I think the point being, in those markets, generally speaking, I started in Binghamton, New York. That was a community that expected and knew that these kids are coming straight out of school. They're learning, they're doing their best. And generally, those are the people with the brightest eyes and the bushiest tails, and they're doing the hard work and they're putting in the extra layer of checking. And there's just a different energy that comes with that
You can
person.
tell when people skipped that step.
Yes, you can tell when people skip that step. And you can also tell when they're in it. Really, really in it. You really can tell. And so a lot of people in like that first market, I remember meeting viewers and they're like, "You're doing such a great job. Keep it up." And it's like they're cheerleading you because they know that you're fresh and they know that you're learning.
This one
And
woman in the bread aisle in Columbia, it was the
mm,
first time I got read. She was like it was the most encouraging, like, bless your heart energy. I will not forget this old woman. She was like, "You're trying, and we can tell you're doing great."
oh, and Columbia now, it's crazy because Columbia now I think is considered a starter market. Whereas for us, it was like that was my second market. And I felt
It was
like it
nice
was a
to see
big
that,
leap.
but yeah, and it wasn't.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah. Good news, it's the World Cup. By the way, Logan and I are going to the World Cup this weekend. So fun.
I'm sorry. I know pregnancy
Uh-huh.
was the lead, but this is also
Yeah.
a buried lead,
Pregnancy
which
was the lead. We're going to the Columbia Portugal game in Miami. Yeah. It's going to be amazing. We're so excited. But here in Boston, we had a bunch of Scotland games. And I have not been following the World Cup, to be honest, in the same way that I have followed it in years past, only because I can't really sit down to watch the World Cup at this phase of my life. I'm kind of just keeping an eye on it when I can. But we had Scottish fans here called the Tartan Army.
tartan.
Okay. And the Tartan Army, let's just say they drank
Wait,
it
is
all.
that actually a thing? Like,
Yeah, it's
restaurants were
actually a
like
thing.
making people I can
Yeah.
imagine, like, restaurants and bars being like,
Mhm.
"Alright, this got a
Yeah.
gang."
There was one bar downtown that I think literally closed for 24 hours afterward just to like after they all left. I think they're in Miami now, the Scots. But because of just this like how viral all of these fans went, the Pats are talking about now going to play in Scotland after this Tartan Army takeover.
I'm sure I don't know if the NFL loves that because there's not that many Scottish people, but I know they want more of those European connections, so any loyal fan base is a winner, and
Yeah, and playing abroad, I feel like is so much fun for them.
I'm loving every single meme or video of, like, international people discovering Buc-ee's or, like, all of these,
Mhm.
like, such Americana things that other people are just like or it's like, did you like, the ranch dressing anyway, all of it is hilarious. Yeah, like,
I the
ranch
and the World Cup is that, like, speaking of incubators, it's such a great incubator for seeing different cultures colliding at work. And so watching, like, the Bostonians colliding with the Scot like, everybody was so happy here in the last 2 weeks
I love
because everybody was probably drunk, but, like,
I mean, I was about to
just
say they ran out of beer multiple times, it sounds like.
yeah, kilts everywhere. Kilts everywhere, and I think there were some places that, like, if you wore your kilt, you got discounts. I mean, it was just it was so fun to see. This is
That
when the
feels like the
internet is
most
great.
Boston, like, 2 weeks possible.
I just am imagining if anyone was down at, like, Faneuil Hall, like, please send us videos because I could imagine it had to have been the most fun atmosphere on the planet. Like, just cannot even imagine. But yeah, now Robert Kraft is talking about potentially taking the Pats overseas and we'll
And
see, but
it's like, "Look at this joy, and now look at large corporations' reaction."
let's take the Pats. Let's
How
take the
can
Pats
we make
overseas.
money?
But we're gonna leave it on the good news of all of these incredible Scottish fans who literally descended. They like marched. It was nuts. So let this be your sign to go down a deep dive rabbit hole of
We
all of the
defeated the
viral
British
videos
just for the Scots. Let's
for
go.
the World Cup. Incredible. Round us out with how are you doing at camp?
Okay, well, first of all, huge congrats on the pregnancy. Don't think I got to that.
Thanks.
Doing
1 hour, 1 hour.
I
Thank
was
you
like,
very much.
what have I not said? No, I think camp, like, that was I have my night off I have, like, 5 PM tonight to 5 PM tomorrow off. I booked, like, a cabin in the woods but I just wanted quiet,
A cabin
um,
in the woods.
and I just, like, want to read a book in silence because I'm, like, so close to pretty nature that I see it, but then there's, like, 50 kids screaming, "Picture guy! Look over
Oh,
here!" Um,
so they
and
didn't actually come up with a nickname for you, you're just picture
Oh,
guy?
no, 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 I am allowed to be so sassy. Some of these kids, I think, do have, like, a very privileged background, and I think in their mind, I am, like, part of my whole existence is to capture them. So I just ignore if they call me anything but my name or like, "Hey, would you mind? Can I please?" I ignore them. And I
Good
literally
for
went to a girl
you.
the other day, this little girl was like, "I think they're calling for you," and it was like 10 or 15 teenagers just yelling, "Camera guy, look here!" And she was like, "I think they're calling for you," and I was like, "I don't respond to that, and neither should you," and I just kept walking. Um,
Hell yeah.
but even that is fun. No, I did, like, football drills today with the flag football and, like, baseball, and the girls at gymnastic were teaching me to do backflips into the pit the other day. I'm gonna go
Oh,
spend tonight just, like, quietly, like, chilling safely in the woods, and then I'm gonna come back for Shabbat where everybody wears white, and it's beautiful, and everybody's happy when you take their pictures and their videos. Um, Making content that people are immediately thankful and happy for, 10 out of 10. Would recommend to a friend.
would recommend to any kid coming out of journalism school and going, "Wow, local news does not look super fun." There are other and I hate to be this person. I really do because how many times did I work an internship and a reporter would get me in the car with them and we'd get out of the newsroom and they'd go, "You don't wanna do anything else? Are you sure? You don't wanna go to law school?" And I would say, "No, I wanna be a reporter. I believe in the power of journalism, blah, blah, blah." All the things that we say. And now I'm like, I am that jaded reporter in the car. And it's not even because I like
Reporters. And I'm
I know.
telling them, they're like, "I wanna be a beat reporter for a team," or whatever, or, "I wanna be an announcer
Yeah,
and be on SportsCenter," and I'm like,
you do.
Honey, you have a better chance of being in the NBA, in the NFL." I mean, not you particularly probably, but generically.
Generically speaking, you have a better
Some of
prospect
these
of
kids
being a
are amazing
pro
at
athlete.
sports. Some of them questionable, but on that note, Sam, I
Oh my
gotta
gosh.
run. What
Go,
what
go, go, go.
what an episode. Thank you.
Giving me the